Come Lightfall, this build will blow your mind. This solo hunter setup was top tier last season, guys, utilising the ever broken classy restoration, and it seems to have fallen out of favour currently, but today I'm going to show you why I believe come Nightfall this build will be an absolute game changer due to the rework of Solar 3.0. We have unlimited throwing knives, unlimited invis, plus to the coming changes we have infinity healing and restoration. That's right, restoration. This build is going to be absolutely insane, mark my words. So leave a like and comment down below on what build you're going headfirst into Lightfall with. So what we're going to do from here, I'll go through how the build works, the aspects and fragments we're going to be throwing together, and we'll go over the new fragments that you can swap into this build come Lightfall and how they take this build to the next level. Then I'll go through some of the mods that we can use for the remainder of this season, whether you're farming the Grandmasters for that adept loot or you're just bounty farming. So this build mainly focuses around the Hunter exotic Assassin's Cowl. This notorious exotic helmet pairs perfectly with Arc 3.0, but I'm here to show you another way to use this helmet. So basically what this offers is powered melee blows, grant invis and restore health, and your shields. The beefier the target, the harder the target, the longer your invisibility lasts, and the more health you get back, either using your powered melee or using a finisher. And then you're going to want to pair it with the Hunter's knife trick melee ability. So you're going to be throwing 3 knives that scorch enemies, hitting them for 30 scorch stacks per knife. Killing an enemy with this triggers Assassin's Cowl invis and will quickly start your healing. And we're going to be utilizing both of them with the Hunter's Gambler's dodge. Dodging their enemies fully recharges your melee. This basic loop of invis and throwing knives is definitely OP. This opens so many doors, especially with the new fragments that are going to be replacing some of the old fragments. So as we look at the fragments now, one of the new fragments that is coming with Lightfall is Ember of Mercy. Reviving an ally grants you and them restoration, and obviously we can take advantage of this with Ember Inferior if you wanted, but I'll just paint a quick picture for you. Hard content relies on invis hunters, and this will be a perfect fragment for the endgame Nightfalls. Obviously with us constantly going invis, we'll be able to get the res and so on. The next newly reworked fragment is going to be Ember of Searing. This now creates a fire sprite when you defeat a scorched target. So with our throwing knife scorching enemies, we're also going to be creating that fire sprite all the time. And if you didn't know, when you actually do pick up a fire sprite, it grants you restoration. So now our gameplay loop of dodging, throwing our knives, going invis, healing just pretty much became cracked. The other fragments are Ember of Singeing. Last ability recharges faster when we scorch enemies, so we can use it in this current season and next season. We've got Ember of Ashes. We apply more scorch stacks with our throwing knives. Ember of Torches. This will make us and our allies radiant, giving us a nice 25% damage to our weapons. And of course currently you can't use a Searing rework, but I would still use it and swap in whatever for Ember of Mercy. At the moment, Ember of Searing, what this does is when you defeat scorched targets, it grants you melee energy. As for the aspects we're using knock 'em down, our solar supers are more powerful and effective. Our blade barrage launches more projectiles, and while we're radiant, throwing knife kills refund our entire melee. And then we have On Your Mark. This will increase our weapon handling and reload speed. This also works with our fire team as well, and the reason we're using this is because it allows us to have 3 fragment slots. As we go for stats, With this build, I recommend your first priority being 100 mobility and then building to resilience and possibly strength. As for the mods, you're gonna need 2 solar affinity pieces of armor and 1 stasis affinity piece of armor, and the rest is a totally open book. But remember, next season affinity armor will not matter, so you'll be able to pretty much swap and change mods as you please. As we go into the mods, on the helmet we have melee well maker to create a solar well from melee kills. On the gauntlets we're using 1 melee kickstart. This will give us melee energy. As soon as we throw our knives, it's going to give us a chunk of melee energy back. And also we've got elemental time dilation on there to increase any effectiveness of elemental wells that we pick up. And on the chest piece we've got bountiful wells. This will create more wells from melee kills, also feeding back into our abilities. On the legs there we have another melee well maker, so in total every time we get a melee kill we're going to create 3 elemental wells. And then on the cloak we have monochromatic maestro, giving our melees an extra 10% damage increase when we hit an enemy with a solar weapon, and then vice versa, when we hit an enemy with a solar ability it's going to give us a nice 10% weapon damage buff with our solar weapons. So this, with this build, is really good, because all you need to do is take a bit of a chunk out of your enemy's health and then finish him off with a knife. The extra 10% damage increase to your throwing knife enables us to get the kill a lot easier with this current season, but still next season it's still going to be outrageous. And then we have Well of Life to give us increased and constant healing when we pick up that solar elemental well, and then with time dilation it's going to make the Well of Life effectiveness last even longer. So that's pretty much the build, guys. I really think this will be amazing next season. The dim link, as always, is going to be down below in my pinned comment. Thank you for watching, commenting, liking all my recent videos. Peace. I'm creamslice.